I think it's a lot less sexy than people will hope to hear, but really breaking down the fact of like what a skill file is. When you think about repeatability and leverage in an AI world, it all starts with a simple markdown file. So like I've spent 90 whole minutes explaining what a skill file is and how to make them and how to think about them to companies. That has been the breakthrough moment. But the more fun one is that I've connected Fathom, my note taker, to HubSpot, and every 2 hours it updates every single record of people I talk to. And that's like my happy place. I'm so happy.
What might be helpful is I think folks maybe get a little confused about the difference between like a skill versus a markdown file. What are these different components? Like, as I understand it, and I'm playing dumb for a reason, they're just like a block of text, right? Like, what exactly are these things? And why would you not just use Claude Chat directly? And what is the purpose of even using them?
Okay. So a skill file for someone listening it's essentially like an SOP, right? It's a standard operating procedure, but for AI. And so there's two main parts to it. There's the description, which is formatted in YAML, which you can just ask Claude to be like, write this in YAML. And then the real meat and potatoes of it is Markdown. And Markdown is the coding language, the formatting language that Notion runs on, ClickUp runs on. Anytime you do like a pound symbol and then the text gets bigger, that's Markdown. Okay. And so what Claude does is it takes your process or your SOP, the way that you do things, and turns it into this file that it's going to follow step by step when you request that output or that skill. Okay. And so most people in their role, they have a collection of tasks and deliverables that they're responsible for. And you can make a skill file for each of those deliverables. Skill files can be updated in any chat. You can ask a skill to run. It can make an Excel file. It can make a document. It can make a PowerPoint, an HTML file. And you can say, okay, I didn't love how you did this part. Just update that part of the skill. And then next time it'll get better. And so why do people care about this is that when you think about Claude and Cowork and Claude Code, I talked about leverage and repeatability. So if you have a skill file that accurately and consistently gets you to a high quality output in 1/10 of the time, then you can use that programmatically through a scheduled task or just in your chat, and you will get the same high quality outputs more consistently using less time. And so the skill file is kind of the key that unlocks AI leverage in each individual role and ultimately in a company.
For me, Grant, talking to you in Lisbon a couple of months or like a month ago, one of my biggest takeaways is that one thing is these skills files and using it for yourself to, make yourself more productive. But you talked about sharing skills with the team. And for me, this was like, I haven't really thought about it that way before, but I've now started doing it. And it's like a superpower unlock. But could you talk a little bit about how that works and what that is and maybe some really practical tips on how to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So